What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a knot tying video and we're going to tie the famous FG knot. And if you guys don't know, this is a very popular knot on for the pros, and a lot of them have gone to the FG knot for tying braid to fluorocarbon or mono leader. It's a little bit complex knot. It looks harder than it is. It does take some time to get used to it, but once you do it a handful of times, it becomes pretty simple, and it's, in my opinion, one of the strongest knots, and it's super thin when you do it right. And so we'll go through your guides really smooth, super strong, and you do it right, you very rarely break off at the knot. Usually, if you are going to break off, it's going to be on your actual leader material. But super good knot, and I'm going to just walk you through how I go about tying this knot, and hopefully it helps you out, and you'll be able to tie this one for your next fishing trip. So the one thing you want to do is you want to get your rod set up to where you can put a little bit of tension on it, and I'm doing it on a spinning rod. Most of the time, if I'm tying leader knots, it is on a spinning rod. I've already got braid on this rod, so I'm just gonna tie a little loop knot in it, and put it right here on my keeper on my rod's got a little hook keeper, a little bait keeper right there. I'm just gonna hook it on that, and usually I wrap it around. I usually come down little ways on the rod and wrap it around one of them guides, just because the tip is real soft, so it moves a lot. So I like to come down a little bit down on that blank to give me a little bit more room. But I want just enough line out so that I can keep tension on it. I don't want too much. About right there is plenty, but like I said, you want to get it set up wherever you feel comfortable. See, I can put a little bit of tension on that rod, and it's not moving too much. Usually this is easier if you're on the ground, but for video's sake, I'm gonna try to do it right here. We'll see how it works out. But got my leader material. I just grabbed some 10-pound fluorocarbon, and it's gonna get me a decent amount out right here. Throw this on the ground on this other side, but I'm right-handed, so I like to do majority of the wrapping with my right hand. So I'll take this leader material, and I'll get, I don't know, maybe a 10 to 15 inches off, and I wrap it around my pinky finger and my ring finger on my left hand. So I'll, 4 or 5 wraps or so, just where that's not going to move. I can put tension on it and it's not going to move, and I still got these fingers free to wrap. You'll realize tying this, it would be fantastic if you had 3 hands, but it's not too bad once you get used to it. But like I said, I would love for this to be have a little bit more pressure on it. Let's try that out. But like I said, I've got my braid right here on the rod, and I can put a little bit of tension on it, and then I've got my leader material in my left hand wrapped around my pinky and ring finger. I'm going to lay it right on top of that braid, okay? And I'm going to pinch it with my left hand, and I'm going to start my wraps. And you go under and back over the top, and then under the bottom. And that's 1. You've completed technically 2, but I count each one of them, but you're alternating top and bottom, and you're going under and back over the top, under and back around the bottom, and you just want to keep going over top, over the bottom, and usually on your smaller diameter lines, I might go anywhere from 20 to 30 wraps, just depending on how small the line is. The smaller the line, the more wraps you're going to need to get that to cinch down really good. If you're heavier line, you might only need 17 or 18 wraps. So you just kind of have to play around with that. But the whole time, you want to keep tension on everything and I usually pull the loose leader line material. I pull that end and the hand in my and the line in my left hand. I pull those tight constantly to make sure those wraps seat really good. But you just keep going back and forth, keeping tension the whole time. If you let it get loose, it won't wrap tight and you won't have a good knot. So keeping it tight is the main thing in this knot. As long as you keep everything tight, then you usually end up with a very, very good knot. And once you get to the end, you'll know really quick whether you've got a good knot or not. Good knot or not. Say that 10 times fast, but it'll come loose on you if you don't keep everything tight. So, like I said, you'll just have to practice. And I'm not sure how many wraps I'm on right now, but we're gonna go 3 or 4 more and call it good. But like I said, just keep and I'm constantly pulling on the braid on the rod to keep tension that way as well. So you're keeping tension 2 different ways the whole time you're wrapping this, and pinching it with your hand to keep that knot still. So that's, I'm gonna say I've gone about 20 wraps. But so now technically the knot is done, and what I do, I'm gonna cut off some of this braid while I finish this knot. All you're doing now is basically sealing this knot off. And to do that, I'm still holding the knot down. You don't want to let go just yet until you completely finish the knot. But I take my braid, my main line, and I'm going to go around my leader tag end and my main line. I'm going to make one overhand knot. And we'll pull that down and pull on everything and wet it a little bit. Pull on everything. If you guys can see that, see how thin and compact that knot is. That means I kept everything tight and it's completely. And you pull. I mean, this is 10 pound fluorocarbon and 8 pound braid, and I'm pulling on this and it hadn't moved a bit. So now technically your knot is done. Some people leave it like this and go to fish, but I like a little bit more security in my knots, so I will tie a few more overhands going around everything, going around your tag and your main line. Don't be afraid to use your teeth. But that's 3 overhands. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my tag in on the fluorocarbon. And we'll cut it as close as I can possibly get it to that knot without nicking the knot. We'll cut it off. Now I'm going to tie 3 or 4 more overhands with my braid to completely seal off to where I don't have, that fluorocarbon, even if you're going to cut it as short as you can get it, but you're still going to have a little bitty stick out that'll catch on your guides. But tying a few more overhands with the braid will eliminate that. So there's one, and sometimes I'll do a double. I'll go just around, run it twice. Set down. There's 3. I'll do 1 more overhand for good measure. That's 4. So I'm still gonna pull everything down tight as I can get it. Put with my teeth one more time, and you're done. Now I'm gonna take and cut my braid off. Cut it pretty close. You're done. If you can see that knot right there, it is super thin, super streamlined. I mean, you'll barely hear it go through your guides. I mean, it won't catch on anything super strong. The only other thing I'll do is I'll take a little bit of super glue and put on there and rub it in with my fingers, and that'll just keep that braid from trying to, fray just a little bit. And it's just another, fail safe deal that, just a confidence thing that I like to do. But that's the FG knot. And like I said, to learn this, I would sit down and just tie this over and over and over until you feel, until you can tie it perfect, constantly. Once you get it, it's not as hard as what some people make it out to be. But like I said, that is probably the strongest and best knot tying a leader line. So hopefully that helps you guys out, and we'll see you on the next one.